I'm chilling at home, watching some TV, the usual. The place is quiet, and I'm just zoning out in front of my screen when I hear this noise, like a creak or a shuffle, something that shouldn't be there. I look around, and my eyes land on the spare storage room. Now I don't go in there much, just some old junk and stuff, but that night, I swear I saw a flicker of movement, like a shadow moving real quick. I'm thinking maybe it's just my mind playing tricks on me, but that feeling won't go away. Curiosity gets the best of me, so I grab a flashlight and head towards the storage room. I open the door and it's just pitch black inside. I shine the light around and that's when I see him. This guy, huddled in a corner surrounded by old boxes and stuff. I'm like, who are you? Why are you in my storage room? The guy looks up and his eyes widen, like he just got caught doing something he shouldn't be. He's got this wild beard, dirty clothes, the whole homeless look. Now, I ain't heartless or anything, but finding a dude in my storage room is just plain strange. I ask him what he's doing here, and he starts mumbling about needing a place to crash. I'm torn between feeling sorry for the guy and freaking out about a stranger in my house. So, I tell him he can't just camp out in my storage room, and that he needs to leave. He's reluctant, but eventually he agrees to go. I figure maybe he's just down on his luck or something. I show him to the door and he shuffles out onto the night. Thinking the weirdness is over, I lock up and try to go back to my TV show, but I can't shake this uneasy feeling. Something's off, I decide to call the cops just to be safe. I tell them about the homeless guy in my storage room, and they say they'll send someone over. Here's where it gets even crazier. The cops show up, and I lead him to the storage room I found the homeless dude in. We open the door, and it's empty. No homeless guy, no sign he was even there. I'm scratching my head thinking, did I imagine the whole thing? But then, the cops find this small hiding spot behind some boxes. It's like a makeshift nest, with blankets and old food wrappers. Turns out, the guy had been staying there for God knows how long, sneaking in when I wasn't paying attention. They search the guy's little hideout, and they find some stolen stuff, wallets, watches, even a laptop. The dude wasn't looking just for a place to crash, he was up to some shady business. I live on a farm with my grandparents in a rural area. We have no neighbors as we live partially in the middle of nowhere. My grandparents went downtown to visit my grandpa's dying dad that had Alzheimer's. He was having another episode and they called my grandparents over to calm him down. Before they left, they gave me the responsibility to take care of the farm and the animals. I should tell you guys that this whole ordeal happened at 1 a.m. As I'm walking, I notice something ain't right near the house. I squint my eyes and see these shadows moving around. At first, I figure it's just the trees playing tricks on me, but then it hits me. Someone's messing around by the house. I start to speed up, feeling my heart pound in my chest. I get closer, and I see these two figures trying to be all sneaky like. Now, I'm no hero or anything, but ain't nobody messing with my farm. I gotta protect my little piece of land, and I'll be damned if I let these guys get away with what they're doing. I get this burst of courage, and I shout, "You guys are trespassing on private land. If you don't leave, I'll contact the local authorities." These two dudes freeze, like deer caught in headlights. They're all dressed in dark clothes, looking shady as hell. My gut tells me something ain't right. One of them tries to mumble something, but I ain't having it. I shout again, telling him to get lost before I call the sheriff. Keep in mind, I'm not an intimidating person at all. I'm a 5'2" female that hardly weighs anything. They exchange this nervous look, and I can tell they're debating whether to stick around or haul it out of there. Now, here's where it gets even crazier. Instead of running, they start coming towards me. I'm thinking, okay, this just got serious, but I ain't no damsel in distress. I whip out my phone pretending to call the cops. I tell them they better leave if they know what's good for them. They start panicking, looking around all paranoid like. I guess they thought the cops were actually on their way or something. That's when I notice one of them eyeing the barn, like they're thinking I'm making a run for it. I decide to take matters into my own hands. I start yelling, making a ruckus, banging on stuff and trying to scare them off. It's like a showdown on the farm and I ain't backing down. They realize I ain't playing around. With one last look, they bolt into the night. I watch them go, feeling a mix of relief and adrenaline. I didn't think I had it in me to face down some robbers. Turns out, the farm gives you a kind of strength you didn't know you had. The next day, I call the sheriff and tell him what went down, including my grandparents that came back from the hospital. They come over, check things out, and they find out these guys were trying to break into the house. They were after who knows what. Maybe the TV, maybe the silverware, I don't know. But I'm just glad I scared them off. Alright, so picture this. A quiet neighborhood, the kind where everyone knows everyone. The houses are all cozy with little lawns and picket fences. It's the type of place where you'd never think something wild would go down, but oh boy, was I wrong. I'm just hanging out at home, watching TV. The whole place is peaceful, with the street lamps casting this warm glow on the pavement. My house ain't nothing special, just a regular 2-story deal with a front porch. Everything's normal until I hear a weird noise coming from the backyard. It's like a shuffle or a creak. I'm thinking, what did I just hear? I get up and go to the back, peeking through the curtains. I can't see much, but I sense something's off. Maybe it's just the wind, I tell myself, but I can't shake the feeling that someone's messing around back there. So being the nosy neighbor I am, I grab a flashlight and head outside. The night air is cool, and I'm tiptoeing around like a secret agent. I shine the light towards the fence, and that's when I see him. 2 guys, all dressed in dark clothes, trying to mess with the back door. I'm thinking in my head, what the hell are they doing? I get this mix of fear and anger. I shout at them, "Hey, what do you think you're doing?" They freeze like deer caught in headlights, and for a moment it's just silence. Then one of them starts running towards the fence. I start yelling, telling them they better stop before I call the cops. They're panicking, stumbling over themselves, and that's when I realize these guys are up to no good. I whip out my phone, dialing 911, and I start giving them the details. Instead of making a run for it, these guys decide to stick around. Maybe they think they can outsmart the cops, who knows. I'm just keeping an eye on them from a safe distance. And sure enough, I hear the distant wail of police sirens getting closer. The guys must have heard it because they start looking more nervous than a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. The police show up, lights flashing. I point them towards the backyard. The officers move in, and I can see the 2 guys realizing they're caught. The cops do their thing, handcuffing the 2 intruders and putting them in the back of a patrol car. I'm just standing there with a mix of relief and shock. The neighborhood is supposed to be safe, you know? It's where you feel secure, where nothing too wild happens. My neighbors come out of their homes trying to figure out what is going on. Life's full of surprises, and that night, my little corner of the world got shaken up. The police thank me for calling them, and I'm just standing there, watching as the patrol car drives away with the guy who thought they could mess with our peaceful neighborhood. Stay safe out there, guys.